Good afternoon, Jen. Oh, thank you for coming. I was really finding it hard to talk to just the air. That is so funny. I'm so glad you came. I can talk to you easy. Okay, I don't know if you heard, I was reading the paper this morning, and Casey Anthony back in the news and has a Peacock original coming out, set to air on November 29th. I don't know if you get Peacock, but I know I do, and I'm going to be tuning in. I cannot wait to see that. And it's really interesting after I read this, because I'm sure it's just going to be more lies. But the trial judge, you remember, what was his name? Perry, I think his name is. Let me put his picture up here. This man. Yes, Judge Perry. Um, he calls BS. That's the headline. Judge calls BS on latest explanation over daughter's death. The judge who presided over Casey Anthony's criminal trial isn't buying her latest explanation for the death of her daughter. Judge Perry tells TMZ he doesn't think Casey's version of the events, namely that her father George was responsible for 2-year-old Kaylee's death, adds up based on what he remembers from the case. I never thought so either. Did you follow this, Jen? Yes, yes, she is blaming the father. Um, you know, this was my introduction into true crime. Nancy Grace was on the air back then, and we had followed the OJ trial a few years before, and she came on and she hit the scene, and that's what we kept saying. It's just like the OJ trial, and she was we couldn't get enough of it. And I remember this is the only time I ever, hey, True Crime with Sunshine, welcome. The only time I really thought it was weird, and y'all bear with me, I had a dream about that child because she was on my mind so much. And it was in Florida, so it was very far away, but it felt close because it's the neighboring state. And I dreamed that I was at the beach and I got up and walked out on the beach and I saw this gold ribbon and the waves were pushing it and I knew that it was Casey. I don't know, I mean Kaylee. I don't know how I knew it. But there was tape all around it. And I can't envision how the tape was there. It was just there. And they found her maybe, I don't know, maybe a month later. It could have been 4 months later. And she was wrapped in that garbage bag and had tape, and there was a gold bow tied on the bag. And she had been in water, but I think the water had evaporated at that time. But I won't ever forget that because it was one of those dreams like when you wake up you think it's really happened to you. It was just so weird. And so I'm not anywhere near psychic. I can't even remember what I did yesterday. But I think it's that dream has always stayed with me since they found her. I'm doing great. How are you? I'm not going to do like you probably, because I'm just going to read the headlines. I'm just reading the paper, and I don't really do BA or any um, timelines or anything like that. I'll help you research anytime you need it, but I can't imagine putting that together like y'all do. So I'm just going to go back over here and finish reading. Judge Perry tells TMZ he doesn't think Casey's version of the events, namely that her father George was responsible for 2-year-old Kaylee's death, adds up on what he remembers from the case. He thinks Casey's story hasn't been consistent. That's an understatement. And believes she was caught in a few lies, that undermine her credibility. Jen, was it you that was telling me that the Megan Boswell case reminded you of Casey Anthony? Somebody said that, and no, I'm not I'm native in America. I am West Texan and Alabama transplant. So it kind of all goes together, doesn't it? Let me take that off. I'm getting just a little better. I can tell I'm getting just a little better. Um, so you remember some of her lies. I know you do. Um, like, didn't she take the officers all the way to Universal Studio? Hey, checking. And took them all the way to Universal with the lie that she worked there, even walked back into the office, right? Hey, Savannah? Leilani? Okay, I don't know that. I need to look that up. We were just talking about Megan Boswell and how much she reminds some people of that. Um, Perry thinks Casey's story hasn't been consistent and believes she got caught in a few lies and to undermine her credibility. He says she blamed a babysitter for kidnapping Kaylee. We know that was Zanny the nanny, which I think that theory of maybe she gave her a pill, I really do think that might have something to do with Zanny, and she just found a name when she got in that lie. She was very brazen about it. The judge also said there was some damning evidence, namely the smell of death inside her car, and at the time Kaylee disappeared. And the fact that she was gone 31 days before she reported her is kind of odd too. Judge Perry, now retired from the bench, also notes that there was no hard evidence Kaylee drowned in the pool, or that Casey's dad sexually abused her. You remember that didn't come up, and then all of a sudden the case, Diaz just opens the line, opens the whole courtroom. Hey, Candy, with her dad beat her and molested both of them, or her grandmother drowned her in the pool. And I will tell you, to me, this is the most meaningful part of this case, because these grandparents were destroyed. They still are destroyed. Now she stood by her. She stood by her, and she has recently cut her off. Just recently, and so Casey's decided to come out with a new documentary, and in this she comes up with some new stories that we haven't heard before already. So the pool, I look at that and I don't see that happening. She was older, so I imagine she could swim because there's baby pictures of her in the pool. And I can't remember if she can or not. I can't remember the story behind that, but I'm sure we knew at the time. But she adores her. That is adoration. And I don't think anything, I don't know if anything bad happened to Casey Anthony, but I know she's entitled. I know she's extremely entitled. She's too brazen, and she got out of too much not to be able to lie to an entire homicide department like she did. Getting better with working it. I just wish I didn't have to worry about the working it part. Long story short, the judge also doesn't think her new story lines up with the facts of the case or her old stories. So I guess if, we've all heard this sometime in our life, don't lie and you won't have to think about the truth or the lie. Because if it just happened that way, then just, you don't have to make up anything else. So I think that's the way she got away with so much, is she just lied and lied, and then it caved in on her. And I really still to this day cannot figure out how she got off those charges. It just blew the world's mind. And of course, following the OJ case, it was just a double mind blow. This to me, this is her. She cries a lot when she's cornered. Um, she tends to break down when she's cornered in something. Here's another good one of her. Well, that's kind of a sour face. I thought I had a crying one in there, but then look at this one. This is in the middle of the case. That has always struck me as an odd picture, like she's lying or she's believing some lies. I mean, I'm sure a behavior analysis, if Angel Talks Too Fast comes in, we'll get her to tell us what that means. And then this is after she's gone through the trial, years after the first glimpse we had after she moved off. And I want you to just look at her face here. It's that same kind of look, those raised eyebrows and that perched mouth with that kind of grin. It's really it makes me think that she's lying in this interview. And I feel so bad for her father too, because I don't know that I believe or saw any evidence that he did anything. Yeah, did she ever cry real tears, Candy? I don't know. And I think now I'm wondering why she's coming out. I'm wondering if it's because she's mad at her parents, or if she's, I don't know. Why would she just not go away like she did? Why would she come back and tell some more stuff? Because it's not going to go well for her, for sure. But she can't be prosecuted, right? Right, Checking? She can't be prosecuted again for it, right? Casey is detailing her side of the story in depth for the first time ever on camera. The documentary Casey Anthony, Where the Truth Lies. How about that? Where the Truth Lies. Airs on Peacock 29. I've never seen her lie better. I've never seen a better liar than this woman. I really haven't. Well, she wasn't that good, but she managed to get off, so somebody had to have believed her, like a courtroom full of people. It's very odd. Okay, so I'm going to play this one more time in case I played it for my intro, but
911, what's your emergency? My daughter's been missing for the last 31 days.
It's happening, the most closely watched case, certainly since O.J. Simpson.
As to the charge of first-degree murder, not guilty.
Casey's never told her story. Did she murder her daughter?
Casey interview? Marker?
What do you think my question is going to be?
Why did I wait 31 days to call 911?
Did you do everything in your power to protect your daughter?
The public thought that Casey didn't want to be a mother.
The lies make you
That's
think
a good
she
question.
did murder this child.
It's not the Casey that I knew. She loved that child.
Let her through!
I lied. But no one asked why.
so what do y'all think? You think that's going to change your mind about her? Because it seems like an innocent conviction would change my mind. I mean, that was not right. I was looking at checking convictions at the same time I said it. But the fact that she was acquitted on the charges, it seems like would change my mind, but it didn't. Okay, hang on. Sorry, I lost my phone. Can't get out. Oh, there we go. Sorry. I'm telling you, going back and forth, I forget to use one computer and the other. So I'm really eager to catch that. So I thought we'd just go over. I found this article. After I read that in the news, I went and looked at it a little bit because I thought this might be a fun thing to cover. And hang on just 1 second. Let's see. I got to share. If I could just talk and do something at the same time. Have we got it? There we go. All right, Casey Anthony's biggest bombshells from documentary series Where the Truth Lies. Casey Anthony speaks out for the first time on camera. Her most shocking claims. First time since the acquittal of the murder, but I know that she talked before because this right here is an interview with her. And I'm missing chat, and I'm going to try to be better because the chat meant so much last night. It was just overwhelming. I really kind of bombed it, but I just got off my game so bad. This right here, this was a Dateline or something. This interview right here. So I don't really understand where that doesn't seem very factual to me. That already kind of blows my mind. Kaylee was last seen alive on June 16, 2008. It doesn't seem like it's been that long. And Casey's mother, I just remember 9/11 and OJ and Casey Anthony and Travis, what's his last name? Jody Arias killed him. Those 4 cases just happened so quickly. Right there together. It was just, and that was really the first time I'd ever seen trials like that, televised. But that definitely led me right down into the true crime. I liked it. I was totally addicted to it. For the whole time searching for that child, I would come home for lunch and watch it. Just a minute of it. Kaylee was last seen after her mother Cindy. Later, her mother Cindy reported Kaylee missing on July 15, 2008. That's 31 days after Casey told her mother Cindy that she hadn't seen Kaylee in a month. As a grandmother, oh my goodness, I don't. And she'd been begging to see her every week. I'm sure every day. I don't know how really Cindy Anthony went on. I really don't. I really don't know how she got up in the mornings. That December, Kaylee's remains were found in the woods. Casey repeatedly lied to police and was eventually arrested and charged with first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, manslaughter. She was acquitted on all charges, but she was found guilty on lying to police. And she had been in jail so long with her trial prep that she got credit, and she walked out that night. You remember she was wearing a polo shirt or something. It was awful. She was absolutely guilty. Yes. Casey said the reason she waited so long to speak out was that she wanted to properly honor her daughter. Okay, so I wonder, y'all that are really fluent in the true crime community and know how to do these lives like this, where they're broken down in detail, is there a certain time cutoff for that? To properly honor someone? Like, what's the span on that? You can't talk for a certain amount of time, but then you can? Okay. So here's the biggest bombshells from this documentary series, okay? I'm not going to spoil it for you, but this is what you're going to learn. Casey Anthony said her father, George Anthony, in this new documentary, she said it again, staged her daughter's drowning. She alleges that her father staged Kaylee to drown to cover up the abuse of both of them that he gave them. Okay, this man right here, I've never seen a more broken spirit as I did. And I'm not one that roots for the underdog. I'm really not. But and I think that they probably made some horrible mistakes in their parenting, just like I did, like we all did, and you know, we regret it and try to make it better. He may not have. I don't know, but she certainly hates him, obviously, or doesn't care about anyone. I don't know. But this is his new life. He's never had a private life. She's had more of a private life than he has. And since this documentary comes out, this is him. We're looking out of our garage. Every time we walk down the street, somebody's getting our picture. Go to the grocery store, bam, got a camera in your face. It's this to surface, and so that to me is just one more selfish thing that she might do. Now, the reason she lied, she's going to tell you, is that she wanted to protect her father. So it's her fault. It's his fault she lied, because she was just trying to. She lied to the authorities regarding the search just to protect him. And if you remember, she really went viral on social media, and Kaylee was missing. You remember she started her own life, and she was having a ball. That does. It's odd. This was in the 31 days. This picture was taken in the 31 days. It's not even long after she was missing. It wasn't like 6 months even. This was during the 31 days that she didn't tell anyone she was gone. This was too. You remember this picture? I know. Okay. You know, I get it. You need an outlet. I don't really. One thing I can see that doesn't take a behavior analysis is that she's got very bright lights all around her, and her pupils are the size of her irises. They're not restricting like a normal pupil would do in light. So maybe she was numbing her pain. I don't know. I wonder what she was doing here. All these are in the month that Kaylee was missing. I don't know. No judge. Well, I guess it is judgy, but this is what I think about when I'm thinking about it. You know, that's all. That's all. And when I think about that and this, my mind has a really hard time going here. Like, why if this is gone, why do you feel this way? It's really odd. Detective Eric Edwards said that after interviewing family and friends, family members, He believes Casey was frustrated that Kaylee's existence prevented Casey from socializing with young adults her own age. Because her social life got super active. Right, let's see, I may give a date right here, but it was like a week later. Oh, after the 16th. Okay? She went missing on the 16th and she went out the next night. Edwards also noted that Casey's photo bucket account began all the party pictures. I've never used photo bucket. I don't know what it is. I'm sure it's not around anymore. You remember she stole money from the friend and went shopping after Kaylee went missing. But her friends say she was a great mom, like that video clip is. But her other friends said she was a great mom until she wasn't. That's exactly how they said it. She was always focused on Kaylee until she wasn't. However, when asked about his behavior following Kaylee's disappearance, most of her friends were appalled that Casey appeared not to try to search for Kaylee or help her and attended all the parties. She lied to her friends all the time, and she admits it. But now, because she's honored her daughter for a certain amount of time, she is going to tell us the truth now on a Peacock documentary. Okay. She said that all of her lies they all had a kernel of truth. Even though she was lying, that she was really speaking truth. That's like, what is it? Some truth and all lying, or some lying and all truth. I don't know. So at that time, one of her kernels of truth, she went ahead and told in her lie that she had a nanny, Zanny the nanny, and came later, took them to a lady's house, and it became Zenaida Fernandez. Well, Zenaida Fernandez has sued her several times and won every time. So she says she didn't even know her. She'd never met her. Am I on? Because I'm thinking, I'm going off my memory. So let's see. I'll never forget when Dr. G, oh yes, the coroner said, how do you die naturally with duct tape across your nose and mouth? Yes. Oh, I do remember that. I'm so glad you brought that up. I wonder how she felt when Casey Anthony walked out. Okay, here's another thing you're going to learn in the documentary. Casey Anthony said she thought Kaylee Anthony was alive and that she was just missing. She said that she didn't tell the police because she was alive and she was just missing. And her dad, he's to blame for that too, because she didn't want to report her missing because she thought he had her. So that's his fault. And of course, lying to her friends, that's their fault. They did that. And lying to the police, that's her daddy's fault. Casey Anthony not only claimed before the trial was over, because we never heard any of this come out before the trial, that her daddy and her brother were abusing her. It wasn't just her daddy, but she added her brother in there. And I don't have a picture of him, and I think he wants to be very far removed from it, so I didn't try to find one, because he's just kind of started his own life and done pretty well. And I think he looks harsh and heartbroken, and maybe that's why they let that seed of doubt go in there. I don't know. Casey claims in the documentary that he abused her from 8 to 12. And after that, her brother picked up and did that. So it wasn't specifically that, but it was close enough. That's what she says. That's what she says in the documentary. It wasn't specifically abuse, but it was close enough. Mm-hmm. And she was so mad and sad and angry about it that she lied, and she said they didn't do it, but they really did. And she's just now brave enough. But it's all their fault that she couldn't tell the truth. All their fault. Casey Anthony thinks George Anthony may have abused Kaylee. Okay, that's never come up. But now, not only did he abuse her, but it led to her death. And when she said this, her mom, who I never thought we'd see today, Cindy, said no more, and she cut her off. She just, I hate to even say that word, cut her off. It's so odd, but it's unbelievable. And her theory, she said she speculates that this happened. Her theory is, she actually said this, it's quoted, "He put a pillow over my face and he would smother me and knock me out." That happened so many times. I'm sure there were times where I was incapacitated as a child and my body was limp and lifeless. That's an interesting way to describe that. That's what I think about, and that's what I think he did to Kaylee. I mean, look, he should sue her for defamation. I'm so glad you got it. I can't wait. Casey Anthony said her line was a learned behavior from her dad. She lies once again. He's the reason that she lied. He's the reason that she had to stay in jail for lying. Even though she didn't. After the trial was over, she walked out. Now, you remember this very famous moment that we all learned. Bam. What was that? My Beautiful Life? Isn't that what that was? Guess why she got that? She got it because she was so sad at what George and her brother had done to her that she went and got it. She got drunk and drugged, and she just went and did it. And that was a subconscious way for me to speak out against all of it, against my family, my flawed and effed up family, and my flawed and effed up life. It was an anesthesis. So this tattoo is not really an issue, y'all. Don't look at this tattoo because that's her daddy's fault. He did that. He caused her to get that. She also is going to expose that that Kaylee is a product of her being attacked. She claims when she was 18 years old. And she said she was attacked by someone, but there is no way it was her. It was George or her brother. She was very, very adamant that in no way did they do that. And she didn't ever report it because she didn't think anybody would believe it, because nobody ever believed her over her parents. So she didn't report Kaylee being gone, and that's her parents' fault. I can't remember how old she was. Do y'all remember how old she was? You remember she told her boyfriend that he was Kaylee's dad when she got pressed because everybody wanted to know who the daddy was. And she said that was just a selfish decision. And the reason she's selfish is because she always had to protect herself. So the reason she's selfish is because of her parents and brother. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I am. So I think everybody's seen it. I'm not sure if we've got anybody new. I have been kind of working this, but I'm getting a little better. I'm still thinking too much about it. I'll be glad when it comes natural. I don't have any tattoos, Savannah. It's not because I'm against them. Actually, it was because my mother convinced me when I was really young that I should never do that and that it would hurt a lot. And then when my mom turned 70, she went, my son was going, he was driving a delivery truck at that time. He was right out of high school. And he was delivering to a bar next to a tattoo place. And he saw my mom's car in the middle of the day sitting in front of this bar. And this bar is really a seedy kind of strip mall bar. And he thought, what is this car doing here? And so he went into the bar and no one was there. Well, the only other place was Swen's Chinese food, and it was closed until 5. And then this tattoo place. And so he thought, no way. He went into the tattoo place, and my mom was sitting in the chair getting a bracelet of purple roses. And she didn't see him walk in, and he just walked right up to her and took her picture. And he said she screamed, and it was so funny because he immediately sent it to us, and we were like, "What?" Because we didn't ever even think about tattoos, and she tortured us to make sure we didn't get a tattoo, and then she snuck around and got one, and got it so she could hide it with a bracelet if she wanted to. It was so funny, but it is pretty, and I kind of have to admire her that she did it. I mean. And she did it at that age where everybody says you're not going to want it. That's when she did it. So that was kind of a neat thing. Okay, I'll just want to ask y'all about this one thing, and then we can. I guess I'm pretty finished, unless you have a question or something that I can get for you. Let's see. Hmm, things are fried. Oh, there we go. Oh, brother, my computer froze. Am I frozen there? Oh, please. Oh, yes. Okay, good. I don't. I can get pictures of my computer. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, let me come to comments. It just froze a minute, but I'm glad it unfroze. Okay, y'all can hear me. Okay, I'll tell you what, and I'm gonna try something real quick. No, that didn't work. It was supposed to. I read how to give a wrench, and it was supposed to do that, but it's not working for me. Let's see. Did that do it? Checking? It didn't, did it? Type one more time. Oh, yes, I haven't even asked for likes and subscribes one time. Checking type something real quick. Did that give you a wrench? She may be gone. Okay, look, Savannah, I'm kind of tired of saying. Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me? It sounds so crazy. So if y'all, I'm just gonna talk, and if y'all can't hear me, then tell me, okay? And that way I'm not saying that. Okay, I'm gonna touch this again. I hope it's. Let's see. Nope. I think it went to another page. Here we go. Right here. Here they are. The little girls that are missing in Alabama, Sylacauga. There's 4 of them. Do y'all know about them? Sunshine or Savannah, have y'all heard about them? Their last name's Buchanan, and they went missing last week. 4 of them, little bitty girls, and I just thought this would be a good time to share it because it's really hard to find any information on them. They did come out with some more today. Okay, is this sharing? I don't want to ask that. If it's not sharing, let me know. All right, these 4 girls were reported missing in Alabama, and they were found in Georgia. When I loaded this, they weren't found. We were still looking for them. So this article has that must be what made me freeze. It updated, I bet. So that's great news, right? So did y'all hear about them? I don't know. Click on them on. I know you know some of the stuff on there. I mean, I don't have to do it, but it's kind of driving me crazy. I don't know how. And I would like to. Just so I'll watch for y'all. Okay. Let me go back over this. They had an Amber Alert. And it was called off after they were found safe in Georgia, officials said. The alert for the 4 children was issued out of Sylacauga, Alabama on Thursday, after the Buchanan girls were reported missing at 11:35. Their absence was noticed after officials received a court order granting temporary custody. They couldn't get a hold of the daughter. Of the daddy. The Amber Alert was issued for a 12-year-old, and y'all can read their names. I won't say them because they've been found. A 12-year-old, a 9-year-old, 7-year-old, and 2-year-old. Let's see where they were. I'm just so glad they found them. Their 34-year-old father was found in Etowah County, Alabama on Friday, investigators said. I knew that they had contacted him on Friday, but I didn't hear today that they were found. When I loaded this article this morning, it didn't say that. He's currently being held in the Talladega County Jail without bond and is awaiting an initial court appearance, the sheriff's office said. His 4 daughters were found safe in Clayton County Friday, Clayton County, out in Alabama. Some of these articles are hard to read, y'all. They really are. I didn't ever think about that when you're reading them silently. I don't know what that is. Let's see. Authorities did not clarify how they ended up in Georgia or who they were found with. So I'm just glad they're found. But I figured the dad did it, but he was in a whole different county. So It doesn't really say, but I'll be interested. That might be a good one for Savannah and Sunshine to look into. Okay, stop sharing. And I thought maybe Carol would come over, but it's a little bit late for her. But I did do something for y'all, and the people I did it for are here, except for Carol. I just thought about y'all when I was doing it, but I was actually thinking about the weather here. It's pretty sunny, kind of cold, and let's see. Let me get that off there. I don't know where it is. There it is. So I thought, okay, I'll read the weather. We'll talk about the weather a second. Y'all want to talk about the weather? Let's see, how long have I been on? Oh, I've been on almost an hour. Oh my goodness! All the rest went so fast. I had no idea. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm not going to keep y'all. But I will show you. When I saw this, I thought of checking because I know that she and Levitt are battling the snow, and you know I want snow so bad. It hardly ever snows here, and I know, I wonder, why are y'all not out playing in the snow? Look, I told Checking the other day, I gave her an activity for her to send her children into the backyard to play. I had no clue that you had like 6 feet of snow at your house. I wouldn't have given you the activity. Oh. This is what Checking sees when she looks out the window. It doesn't look that fun. Yeah. It doesn't look like a minion snowman. So I thought I might just like see what the weather is over there. So I did. And right here in Chicago, Illinois, that's some of our friends' neck of the woods, 26 degrees. But it feels like 13. It feels like 13 degrees. I don't know the difference in the feeling of 26 and 13, but I'm thinking that 20-mile-an-hour wind has something to do with it. And it's snowing. Y'all are gonna get. There's the Finger Lake, the Great Lake right there. I guess that's Michigan right there. Isn't that Michigan? Checking. And then this is Indiana. They're getting it right now. Y'all are. 36 degrees, but it feels like 26. So in my mind, that's 26 degrees. And the wind's blowing at a calm 20 mile per hour. It reminds me of home, Jen. You know, I love that Texas wind nowadays because we have no wind at all. But let's see. So here's me. I'm 54 degrees. I hate to tell y'all that 54 degrees, and it just feels like 54 degrees because there's no wind. But it's cloudy. It rained a little bit this morning. It'll rain this afternoon. And I didn't forget Jen. 38. And it's so funny because we're on the same line of longitude, Jen. 38 degrees, and it feels like, I think 38. I think it says 38. Which is surprising in Dallas because it does have wind. I just thought that was interesting. It's just fun. 40 degrees? Okay. Yes, pajamas all day. Yes. That's how, yes. And, you know, it always snows in Midland and Dallas, in that whole West Texas highway. And it's exactly, we're on I-20, just like my home in Midland is. We're on the same line of longitude. It always snows there, and it doesn't here. It took me a long time to figure out. You know, I always was curious, and I think it's that Gulf wind. You know, that constant Gulf front pushing Alabama air up. So usually when it does snow here, it's in the northern part of the state. But what's really fun is when we really get a snow, it comes like in April. Shuts down the whole city. It's crazy. It's like, look up the blizzard of 93 in Alabama sometime. Yeah, we called it a blizzard. We did, checking. I'm sorry. And I didn't forget you, Ink. 46 degrees. 1 mile per hour wind. That's it. I mean, Ink and I live just about the same area. She's got that Gulf wind too. But I just thought about y'all, and I just wanted to, I know that was silly, but I thought about you. And I got, I thought, I may have taken it then. Oh, I did. England is 10 degrees today, Celsius. It's 50 degrees there. So I thought it sounds a lot like Alabama. It's kind of balmy. But I cannot believe, y'all, I cannot believe this lasted an hour. I can't believe it. I'm going to have to re-listen to it because it doesn't feel like it lasted an hour. And, no, here we go. All right, sorry. Okay, y'all have a great day. Thanks for coming by. Thank you so much for coming by. And thank you for telling me how to work this, Sunshine in Savannah. I appreciate it. Y'all, please come back. I'd love to see some more. And I will, I think I'm subscribed to your channels. So I'm going to, I'll make sure my notifications are on there because I don't think I've ever been to y'all's channel for a live. I love y'all. Bye. Oh no.
My daughter's been missing for the last 31 days.
It's happening, the most closely watched case, certainly since O.J. Simpson.
As to the charge of first-degree murder, not guilty.
Casey's never told her story. Did she murder her daughter?
Casey interview? Marker?
What do you think my question is going to be?
Why did I wait 31 days to call 911?
Did you do everything in your power to protect your daughter?
The public thought that Casey didn't want to be a mother.
The lies make you think that she did murder this child.
It's not the Casey that I knew. She loved that child.
Let her through!
I lied. But no one asked why.